The vast majority of your graphical tasks are performed by your graphics processing unit, and it doesn't matter whether you are using integrated graphics of your CPU or a discrete GPU solution. Whatever you are currently seeing on your screen is because of your GPU. This is one of the reasons why GPUs can be more power consuming components inside your PC or even mobile devices, especially when you do graphical intensive tasks such as gaming or video rendering. Typically, if you are using a desktop computer with a discrete GPU, your GPU would consume a few watts when idle, but can easily surpass 100 watts or even more when performing intensive GPU loads. But if your GPU is consuming more than 50 watts at idle, there is definitely something wrong with it. Most of the time it's the driver's fault, and unfortunately to this date we are facing such problems on modern GPUs. Except for Nvidia, both AMD and Intel GPU users have reported that their GPUs consuming over 50 watts or sometimes even 100 plus watts when doing a simple task like watching a YouTube video, just like you are doing right now. This problem is prevalent more on the higher end cards like the RX 7900 GPUs from the RDNA 3 lineup, where the GPU can consume over 100 watts on idle on higher refresh rate monitors. But this has a very simple solution which some of you might be doing unknowingly, but is the main culprit of high power usage. As per the findings of Computer Base, this problem is linked to variable refresh rate. Variable refresh rate is a technology that syncs your monitor's refresh rate to the frame rates of your game or any other such content. This is available in the form of Adaptive Sync, AMD FreeSync and Nvidia G-Sync, which are now available in most modern gaming monitors and can be turned on via GPU software. In the tests conducted, when VRR was turned on, the power consumption of the RX 7900 XTX reduced by 81% on a 4K monitor running at 144Hz refresh rate. Similarly, with dual monitors, the power consumption went down to 71%. So we can see a big reduction in idle power, which was constantly at 100 plus watts. It also benefited in window movement and watching YouTube videos, even though the latter saw only 5% power reduction. However, once HDR was on, it was a different story. Apparently, this did not only affect the 7900 XTX but even the previous gen RX 6000 GPUs. The RX 6800 XT saw a whopping 79% power reduction, coming down to only 9 watts from 43 watts previously. This was exactly the case with the RX 6700 XT. Other scenarios also saw some power usage reduction, but unfortunately VRR was not able to affect the power consumption in dual monitor setups. Similarly, we saw such trend with the RTX 3060 Ti, even though not so drastic, but the GPU here was not having such problems from the very start. With other Nvidia GPUs, VRR negatively affected the power consumption in half of the cases and benefited in the other half. Still, there are reports that this is happening to even some Nvidia GPU owners, where the users have reported that their GPUs were consuming more than 100 watts on dual monitor setup. But this is not very common here, and as you can see from the chart, Nvidia GPUs are much more power efficient. However, with Intel, things went worse with the RK 770. The A770 was already consuming more than 40 watts on idle, and now it saw another 10% increase in power usage. This is a big concern that has been existing for a while now and needs to be fixed ASAP. In conclusion, except for Nvidia GPUs, for the most part, both AMD and Intel need to work on this problem so that the idle power consumption can be as low as possible, similar to when the VRR is turned on. So if you are using a monitor that supports VRR, it is recommended that you turn it on through your GPU software. Next, we got two new Intel GPUs in the catalog, which Intel released quietly yesterday in the Alchemist family. Unlike the higher end stuff, both are budget GPUs for the mobile platform. One is the ARC A570M, which we recently heard of, and the other one is the A530M. As you can see from the specs, these GPUs bring 16 and 12 Xe cores respectively and work in a power range of 65 to 95 watts. I think these GPUs are targeted towards 1080p medium to high settings gaming, as we already know the performance of A550M, which falls between these GPUs. So some more good stuff from Intel, but we still don't have the whereabouts of the RK580, which could have been a perfect $150 1080p gaming GPU. And talking about GPUs, we already know that Intel not only has the Alchemist based discrete GPUs, but is also planning to equip this architecture on the Meteor and Arrow Lake chips. However, the next gen Lunar Lake CPUs are going to use the Battle Mage architecture, which promises a significant performance uplift. As of now, we don't have much info about Lunar Lake CPUs, but recently Bionic Squash tweeted that the Lunar Lake I GPU will get 64 execution units, which translates to 8 Xe cores. While on the paper it does look pretty low, but we have to keep in mind that unlike Meteor and Arrow Lake CPUs, Lunar Lake are ultra power chips that are rumored to work on 15 watts of TDP. So not bad at all, considering that the architectural improvements will make up for the performance. Not only that, but Lunar Lake will also host a next gen VPU, aka Versatile Processing Unit, dedicated for AI operations. This VPU will be a game changer for not only Lunar Lake but also for Meteor Lake chips that will perform many complex operations. Watch this video to know how VPU makes the Meteor Lake an AI wizard and what operations you will be able to perform without manual effort. Lastly, let me know your thoughts on the stories I shared in today's video and subscribe for more content like this. Make sure to turn on the notifications to never miss any future uploads, and I will see you in the next one.